Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising trilogy, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again. Each book is a compilation of features about cruisers and cruise and travel personalities from around the world. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul. I am delighted to welcome this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, 16-year-old Nicholas Jackson, aka Nick J. Nick J is a content creator whose popular YouTube channel and accompanying Instagram account, Travels with Nick, mainly features Carnival Cruise Line content, sprinkled with content featuring Galveston, Texas hotels and cruise port. Galveston is close to Houston, where Nick was born and lives with his parents, Nathan, Tricia, and older brother Nate. In a section called Cruising's Young and Restless, I wrote about Travels with Nick in the just-released The Joy of Cruising Again. A couple of things of note set Nick J apart from his fellow cruise content creators. One, of course, is age. Nick was 15 when I interviewed him, along with his parents, for his feature in The Joy of Cruising Again. The other, well known to Nick J's fans and followers, is his plan and desire to become a Carnival Cruise Director. That theme runs throughout his videos and his posts. As you know, some established cruise directors have a staunch following, and they even influence cruises that people book. Long before Nick is old enough to work on a cruise ship, he is developing his own following who fully expect him to realize his dream. Now, I am not a prognosticator. My NFL and NBA predictions bear that out. But I close Nick J's feature in The Joy of Cruising Again with, I look forward to someday interviewing Carnival Cruise Director Nick J. Welcome, Nick, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hi, everybody.
So how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Been on a couple of trips and enjoyed them. And we've definitely got a lot to catch up on because I've been on quite a few trips since we've talked with each other. But how are you today?
Good. Trying to stay cool in this 90-degree weather here.
Absolutely.
So how's your family? It was good chatting with your mom and dad several months ago.
Yes, sir. They're doing great.
All right. Well, tell them I said hello.
Will do.
So before we discuss cruising, tell our listeners about yourself. Where you're from, what's life like for a high school student who is well known in the cruise community? Any hobbies, sports, anything you would like to share?
Yes, sir. So once again, my name is Nick J. I am 16 years old, and I'm from Houston, Texas. And being an influencer and being in high school, it's definitely not the normal life of a normal high schooler. At first, when I first started off, I was kind of on the low with everything, but now people have started to figure out about it, and now it's a whole big thing. But it's definitely different being recognized around the school every single day. But it's really cool. And then to add to that, I've also played sports as well. So I'm a track athlete at my school, and I'm also in tennis as well.
What track event do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a sprinter. So I run the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, and I do a couple of relays as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I ran a little bit of track. I did the 400 and the 800.
Okay.
But my daughter was a sprint star. In fact, she did the hurdles.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, she was quite good. So let's talk about cruising. Talk about your first cruise.
All right. So my first cruise I took at the ripe age of, I believe, 8 years old. And I honestly don't remember too much from that one. Funny enough, I had no clue what cruising was before I had been introduced to that cruise. my family or my parents had said to me, hey, we're going on a Carnival cruise. And first thing that popped up in my head was like a cargo ship with a Ferris wheel on top of it. I had no clue what a cruise would be like. So when we stepped on board, that was a big moment for me. I was just amazed at everything. Everything was just so huge. And like I said, don't remember too much from it, but another memory that I have from it is my interaction with our cruise director. It was like on the last night of the cruise. I used to be very, very shy, and so he was trying to get me to dance, and I ended up dancing, and he ended up giving me a free ice cream. Or he said it was free, and I didn't know it was free, but yeah, that's about what I remember from my first cruise.
Yeah, I have a photo of you with that cruise director
Yes, sir.
in your feature. Uh, so after that first cruise, take us through the progression of your desire to become a cruise director.
All right. So that first cruise, yes, I had an interaction with the cruise director, but it wasn't so much of an interaction for me to be like, hey, this is what I want to do. I was also 8. So but I went on another cruise, the Carnival Liberty. We had a cruise director on there. His name was Corey Rogers. He was good, but again, it wasn't enough for me to really be like, hey, this is something I really want to do. But then I went on my third cruise on the Carnival of Valor. I believe that was in 2017, and we had this cruise director named Orlando Magic. He recently just came back to the cruise industry to be a cruise director again. But he made a huge impression on me, and he was honestly the one that really just made me like say that, hey, this is what I really want to do one day, because he was all around the ship interacting with the guests and just really making everybody feel at home and like one big family on the ship.
Hmm. Now, did you get a chance to interact with him directly?
I did. Again, I don't really remember too much, but well, I don't remember the exact interactions, but I just remember like being like, hey, this dude is like really good and I want to do what he's doing. But I got a few photos with him. I believe I sent them to you. If I didn't, I will send them to you. But yeah.
Hmm. Now, you just mentioned he came back to the cruise industry. Did he come back to Carnival?
No, he did not. He actually, I don't know if you've heard of it, but Margaritaville at Sea, he's a cruise director for them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard of Margarita. In fact, it's I hear mixed reviews about it, but if I were still living in Florida, I'd give it a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so inexpensive. It's
Yeah,
worth
no, that's
checking
what I've
out.
heard and seen.
So when I featured you in the Joy of Cruising again, you had only cruised on Carnival Cruise Line.
Yes, sir.
And your aspiration was to become a Carnival expert and eventually be a cruise director. And then shortly after the book was done, I saw you on IG on Royal Caribbean. I was shocked. No, not really, not really. It's more like I was pleasantly surprised. I almost sent you a message, but then I said, I'll wait and I'll ask you on the podcast. So talk about that. What was a future Carnival cruise director doing on Royal?
I said the same thing, but no, we had went to go see the Allure of the Seas down in Galveston the first week it came. And so I was there with my whole entire family, and we were all just saying like, hey, this ship looks nice. If we happen to find a shorter cruise on it or a good deal, then we'll do it. Funny enough, that same week, later that week, we had found a 4-day cruise on that ship, and it was a better deal than the rest of the cruises that they had. So we ended up booking that one and going on it in January of this year. And we ended up having a good time. That ship it's a lot to take in and a lot of things to do, especially in 4 days. So it's kind of hard for me to really grasp how I really thought and felt about Royal Caribbean. Even after that cruise, though, I still knew I still wanted to work for Carnival because Carnival is just on a different level especially when it comes to the atmosphere and the type of vibe that there is. But we ended up looking for another summer cruise at this point, it would have been a few weeks ago. But we were looking for the summer cruise, and we were going to go on the Carnival Glory originally out of New Orleans. But then Carnival's prices just shot way up. And for some reason, Royal Caribbean's prices went way down. And so we were like, hey, we really like the Allure. Let's do it again for 7 days. And so my family
Mhm.
actually ended up surprising me with that. and it was really, really cool. But 7 days really made me realize that Royal Caribbean just kind of isn't for me, because 7 day vibe's definitely a way different vibe than the 4 day. So, well, yeah.
Now, I'm curious. What was the major difference between the 4 day and the 7 day?
So the 7 day, honestly, so for the 4 day, there was just all the entertainment that you get on a 7 day, but squished into those 4 days. Over the 7 day, everything was just spread apart. So there were some days where there were barely any activities, and then there was certain day or other days that would have like lots of activities to do. So it was just kind of like, some days I would just be sitting around pretty much all day, and others I'd be all around the ship just doing stuff.
Okay, I understand. So I'm curious. Did you get a lot of questions on your channel about, hey, what are you doing on a Royal Caribbean ship?
I have, and I've gotten a lot of questions saying like, which one do you like better, and so and so. I've got a review coming on that out on that very soon. So
Good, good. Talk about your first cruise after the pandemic. We don't want to talk about the lockdown. That was depressing for all of us.
absolutely.
But what was your first cruise back?
So my first cruise back was back in December of 2021 on Carnival Breeze. So first off, to start, that cruise, or the Carnival Breeze, has always been a ship that I've just always wanted to go on. And to be able to go on that ship first, like my first ship back from the pandemic, it was just it was super exciting and super surreal to be able to do that. But just all in all, that cruise was just excitement on top of excitement on top of excitement. I was just so happy to be back, and there is so much to see and so much to do. And I've just been as far as my channel goes, I've had a lot of ideas that I've been able to come up with like over the course of the pandemic, just sitting at home. And so to finally get to, put those or execute those ideas, it was all just amazing and super exciting to me. Like that cruise has definitely been one of the top few that I've been on, because it was a super memorable experience, and I enjoyed every single second of it.
But was it emotional for you getting back on the ocean?
I can't say it was emotional at the end of the cruise when it was time to get off. But actually being on it, I was just happy to be there.
Happy to be there.
Yes, sir.
So what have been some of your cruise highlights since that first cruise back?
Some of my cruise highlights. Well, let's see. Going back on the Carnival Breeze again, this past November, that was a really memorable one for me. Not only because it was just great being back on a cruise ship and getting to meet the people, but we also ran into a storm on that cruise ship, which was it's a whole I actually got seasick on that cruise. But anyway, the cruise director on that ship, Lawrence, he's actually still there today, but he was a really, really great cruise director. Definitely one of my favorites I've ever sailed with. And we scheduled an interview with each other. And during the course of that cruise, when we ran into the storm, like I said, I had got seasick. We had an interview that same day that I was sick, and I had no way to communicate with him because I was like so out of it that I really couldn't even look at my phone without getting sick again. So
Wow.
anyway, I ended up feeling better later that day. And then I just randomly saw Lawrence walking around the ship. And so he was off somewhere, but he canceled whatever he was going to, and he made time to film that interview with me still. So that was really memorable. And then let's see, backtracking just a little bit of time, I had always wanted to sail with Kindle Fire. And when I went on the Carnival Vista last summer, she was a really great cruise director as well. And she actually had mentioned me over the PA system and over the mics a couple times. So that was really nice of her to do.
Oh, that was nice. I was going to ask you. Let me ask you now. So you've met and interacted with, and in some cases interviewed, a few Carnival cruise directors.
Yes, sir.
Do you suspect you are starting to get known by Carnival, or is it a little too early for that?
No, believe it or not, I actually have been noticed by the brand themselves, not only the cruise director. I actually had the chance on TikTok to work with Carnival. I had filmed a ship tour of the Vista. They ended up seeing it, and so they actually ended up paying me to run it as an ad. So I've been noticed by their media team as well. But I would say across the cruise directors, I'm starting to get known as well. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
yes, sir.
That is great to hear. So let's talk specifically about your channel, Travels with Nick. So when and what motivated you to create Travels with Nick?
So I started the channel back in 2019, right before we went on my Carnival Dream Cruise. But the main person that really inspired me to start my channel was Cruise with Josh. He was really just inspirational to me. He was the main cruise vlogger or cruise channel that I would watch, and he would always just it was like you were right there with him in his videos. He would always make you feel like you were just there, and he was super excited and energetic and super informative as well. And so I wanted to be that, like, kind of be the second person that was like that in the cruise community. And yeah, no, but he was just my main inspiration for it, and just a really big mentor I've looked up to.
I remember you telling me that in the interviews for the book. I gave him a shout out. So if you talk to him, mention that to him.
Yes, sir.
You said you started in 19, and then of course we had the pandemic. Did you continue throughout the pandemic?
Yes, so
or throughout the lockdown?
I did continue my channel throughout the pandemic. I also had to be very creative because obviously I couldn't go on the cruise ship. So I ended up, sometimes the cruise ships would come in and out of Galveston when they need to refuel or restock, that type of thing. So I'd go out to Galveston and just film the cruise ships coming in and leaving. I also did cruise news at one point. So any breaking news in the cruise community that was happening, I would cover some of that. And then the cruise community, we would come together and we do these big like cruise community marathons. And so basically everybody would have live streams going like at every hour of the day. And, like through 12 one day to 12 the next day, we'd just be going live and stuff, and everybody would have their own hour. But I do that type of stuff just to kind of fill the time while we couldn't cruise. But yeah, I had to definitely be really creative during that time.
So I recall near the end of our interview for the book, you were about to launch another cruise-related social media endeavor. I'll talk about that.
Yes, so me and my best friend Colin. So myself, I want to be a cruise director one day. It's my aspiration. Colin, he also wants to be a cruise director one day as well. He's actually a little older than me, so chances are he'll reach that goal before me. But me and him, like I said, we both share that same aspiration. And so we ended up coming together one day and we were like, what can we do to share our aspirations for cruising and share the latest in cruise news and cruise photos, that type of thing. And so we ended up coming together and making a podcast. It's called Cruise with Colin and Nick. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram by typing that name. But last summer, that's when we started. We're currently on a little bit of a break right now, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do next. Because he's heading out to college soon, and of course I'm still in school, so we're gonna figure out our next plans as far as where we want to take it. But it will be coming back, and it will be coming back soon, and I'm excited about that.
Now you're headed into your junior year or senior year? Junior year. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What are you working on right now at Travels with Nick?
Yes, so we just returned back from our Allure of the Seas cruise, and I've got about 7 to 10 videos coming out from that cruise, not specifically related to the Allure of the Seas, but a majority of them are. So I've got a whole bunch of videos from that coming out, and then I've got a whole bunch of plans down the road that consist of things you may not have known about me, or stories that you may not have known about that I've taken to film certain videos. And then, of course, we've got upcoming cruises as well that I'm sure we'll talk about in just a little bit. So yeah, but that's about what about all that I'm working on behind the scenes.
So you mentioned how we can follow your channel that you have with Colin.
Yes,
what
sir.
about Travels with Nick? How can we follow you? How can fans follow you on social media and the internet?
Yeah, so you can follow me over on all the main social medias, over on Instagram, Facebook. I'm on the new app called Threads now. I'm not sure how that one's going to go, but I'm there. You've also got Twitter. I'm there as well, and also TikTok.
What do you do on TikTok?
Yeah, so TikTok is essentially just another version of my Instagram. So any video I'll post to Instagram, I'll also post that video to TikTok. Photos don't really do so well on TikTok, so it's just the videos. But yeah, it's basically a carbon copy of my Instagram, but videos.
Oh, so no funny dances or anything like that.
Oh no.
So yeah, let's talk about the future. Do you have anything booked?
Yes, so I have another cruise on the Carnival Breeze coming up this November. And we've also got a cruise on the Jubilee coming up. Now, Carnival Jubilee, its inaugural cruise was supposed to be this November. However, it ended up getting pushed back to let's see, December the 23rd, I believe, right before Christmas. We couldn't make that one, so we ended up booking the fourth sailing out happening on, I believe, January the 13th. So I'm booked on that one as well.
Talk about your bucket list. And doesn't have to be just travel. As young as you are, I'm interested in just what do you want to accomplish in your life?
Okay. So man, that's a lot of stuff. So focusing on things that aren't travel first. Like I said, wanna first work on cruise ships, and I want to try and get my first little experience by doing Carnival's internship program. If you're a college student, during the summertime, you're able to apply to work on the ships as fun squad. So I definitely want to do that. And then just to kind of get my sea legs working. And then from there, I definitely do want to go into like actually working on the cruise ships full time and hopefully work my way up into cruise director. And then after cruise director, I want to try and start some type of either TV show or become like a news reporter, something like that, but just something like on TV or media wise, or just continue my YouTube channel if that still works out.
That internship program sounds interesting. That's the first time I heard that. Do you
Okay.
have any idea yet where you're going to college?
I'm looking at U of H and also A&M. So
So
hopefully
U
one
of
of them.
H, that's Houston.
Yes, sir. That's University of Houston.
Uh-huh. And now the internship program, that can be done from any college, or does the college have to participate in that?
So yeah, it can be done from any college, and I believe it's kind of a standalone type thing. So you just book that straight through Carnival. And so
Okay.
what Carnival will do is they'll invite you out on the ship as if you're a crew member.
Okay. And that can be done at any age, I take it.
It
I
can be
mean,
done at age.
college age.
Well, unfortunately, no. It's actually 21 and older. They actually like a
Oh.
few months ago it was 18, but they just upped it up. So
Oh, wow.
yes, sir. Now it's 21.
Oh, I know that was kind of disappointing to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I'll get there one day.
So before we let you go, Nick, you were going to tell me what's on your cruising bucket list.
Yeah. Okay, so cruising bucket list, that's a long one, but I'm gonna try and condense it a little bit. But I definitely want to try out the Mediterranean. Heard a lot of great things about that one. And I also want to do a cruise from New York one day and go down to the Southern Caribbean from there. I've heard those cruises are really, really nice, and also Panama Canal as well.
Yeah, we are going on a cruise from New York for Christmas with my family. So
Oh wow. Are y'all
yeah,
cruising Carnival or
no, we're trying MSC.
oh okay.
First time trying MSC. I'm excited, because a cruise with my extended family what kind of started me writing the books,
Oh, I
and I'm
see.
just and I'm just excited about being with my family, and I'm excited about trying out a new cruise line. But I'll be honest with you, I'm anxious because MSC does have some mixed reviews. So
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about MSC, but I'm looking forward to them. They said they're coming down to Galveston at some point, so I'm looking
uh-huh,
forward to trying when they get down here. But I don't know if I'd fly all the way out somewhere to go on MSC just yet.
yeah. So you said Mediterranean. You said you want to cruise out of New York and then Panama Canal. I had a guest on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he was a former crew for Princess Cruises, and
Okay.
he went to Panama Canal every week. Uh,
Oh, every week.
on his first contract. So he had some good stories about that. So, hey, Nick, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Long time no see. What's it been? A few days?
A few days, yeah.
For the listeners, Nick and I, we did an interview for the podcast coming up, and a few days later, I'm browsing Facebook, and I see Nick wearing a badge or a pen or name tag, and it has a carnival symbol on it. So I almost fell out of my chair. I know he's not old enough to start working for them directly yet, but I was confused and also excited for him. So I figured I would do a little addendum and get it straight from Nick's mouth. So first of all, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. How are you?
Trying to stay cool. It's been terribly hot here in North Carolina. I know it's worse down there.
Yeah, no, it's really, really hot. Like it's like you melt as soon as you step out the door. But yeah, no,
Yep.
it's doing
So,
pretty well.
clear up this confusion. This sounds like wonderful news, but give me the inside scoop.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, yes, I work under the Carnival brand, if you will, now, but I do not work shipboard. I actually work land-based or port-based. And so I'm one of the terminal agents at the Port of Galveston. And so it's always been kind of like a mini dream or like a sub dream that I've had. I never actually really thought it would happen. But as I was growing up and as I was going into my early teen years and really started getting interested in cruise ships, I've always said like, hey, I think it'd be really cool to work at the port. And we've known people that have worked at the port. And, they said once I'm old enough, they'll put in a word for me and give me an application. And now that I'm finally old enough, that was able to happen. I got in contact with the port, filled out that application. And before I knew it, they were calling me in for my interview. So, and then just going through that interview process, it was really cool because people there, it honestly just felt like family because I had seen them before when I had cruised out of the Port of Galveston, and they actually knew me from YouTube and various social media. So it was really cool to see that. And just being a frequent cruiser, it was like I already knew a majority of their policies. So stepping actually into that position of the port agent, it was honestly really easy, and it just felt like home and like something I just had been doing. Never felt like it was like a first day for me. So, but no, it's
Well,
been awesome.
well, that's just great. When I saw that picture, this wide smile came over my face. I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but I knew it was good. Um,
Yeah.
so, are any of your coworkers fans of the channel?
Yeah. So a few of them, they watch my channel, and a few of them follow me on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And so all of them know that I have the end goal of becoming a cruise director one day. So they're all supportive of that.
So, what exactly does a port? What's your title again?
Port agent.
What exactly does a port agent do?
So a port agent or an embark agent are the people that work in the cruise terminal. So basically what I'm doing or what a port agent does is they'll be working either facial recognition, they'll be working as a directional or a guest greeter, or they'll be working the check-in stations. And so I've done pretty much all three of those. I've had times when I've had to greet and direct people different ways. I've had times when I've had to check in people as well. And of course, work that facial recognition as well.
So if I took a cruise out of Galveston Port, in all likelihood, I'm going to encounter you.
Chances are you're going to see me at some point. Yes, sir.
Oh, that is just great. That
Yeah,
is
if you're
just
cruising on the
great.
Carnival Vista, anybody cruising on the Carnival Vista, terminal number one, that's where I'll be.
Yeah, in fact, so I think when I saw the photo of you with the badge, that was at listed behind you.
It was the Vista behind me. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is wonderful. So will that job last through school or is it just for summer?
No, it actually ended up working out so that it will last through school. Vista comes in on the Saturdays and I only work the Saturdays. So that's kind of why I've been able to hop onto this position. And because if I wouldn't have been able to continue it through school, chances are I probably wouldn't have taken it just yet because I would have only worked it for 2 weeks at this point because we're about to start up school. But I'll be able to do this throughout the school year and of course into next summer.
Okay, okay. So is there any kind of opportunity for progression? I mean, are there different jobs that you don't do now that you might be able to do eventually?
Oh, absolutely. So, uh, right now, like I mentioned, I'm a port agent, and eventually you'll be able to move up to, I believe, a supervisor and then a manager. And then let's see, there's a position that's like a guest services manager that kind of switch between the ship and the actual port, and they relay information. So you'll be able to get on the ship while the ship's in port. But funny enough, there's actually another guy at the port. His name's Nick as well, and he started working there when he was 16 too, and now he's one of the managers there.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
Great, great, great. Before we let you go, a couple of fun cruise questions. Um, and then maybe an oddball question. And by oddball, I mean doesn't really relate to cruising.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite cruise food?
Favorite cruise food, guys burgers, hands down.
Geisberg said that's an easy
Yeah.
one for you.
Eat them every single day of the cruise. If I'm snacking on something, it's going to be a guy's burger. Anytime during the day, it's going to be guy's burger. So
Do you ever go to the specialty restaurants?
I do, and I have. So which ones have I tried? I've tried Cucina del Capitano on Carnival. That's the Italian
Uh-huh.
restaurant that they have. I've tried the Seafood Shack.
Yep, yep.
That one's pretty good as well. And then on Royal Caribbean, we went to go try, I believe it's called Sabor, and that one's a Mexican restaurant.
What else do you like besides that? Do you like the pizza?
The pizza, there, Carnival's pizza is good when it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and you're just looking for some pizza to eat. In Royal Caribbean's, it's pretty good all the time. So, but yeah, Sorrento is really, I would say it's probably the best pizza at sea.
What's your most memorable or funniest or even most embarrassing cruise or port experience?
Ooh, cruise or port experience? That's a good question. Okay. One of the I'm gonna say one of the embarrassing ones. So one of the embarrassing things that's happened to me on a cruise is slipping on the wet deck in front of a lot of people. That was one of the most embarrassing ones and got a lot of attention from that one. Thankfully, it was way back when I wasn't really known in the cruising community, so I don't really have to worry about that now. But um yeah, that was one of them.
You,
And then
you don't want to do that as a cruise
oh
director.
no, oh no. That would be on the headlines of everything. But yeah, the that's one of the embarrassing ones. And then see what's another one. This isn't really embarrassing. Neither was it like a show off type moment, but there was this dance song. I know a lot of the dance songs that they do on the cruise ships, and there's this one
Hmm.
song that had came on, and it's kind of like a song that all the crew members know and that the guests don't know, and the crew members have to teach the guests, like at one of the deck parties or whatever. And so I had already known it in the deck party where they teach you that dance hadn't happened yet in the cruise. So I was the only person on the dance floor dancing to it. So I don't know if that's like a good moment or a bad moment, but that's one of them.
Now, was that pretty recent?
That was on my last Carnival cruise in November.
Okay, so that's actually good for you because that kind of brings some attention to you as Nick, the future cruise director.
Yes, sir.
Can you dance?
I can line dance. I can line dance, yes, sir. But I can't just any song comes on, I can't break out to it.
Okay, okay. What's your single most memorable cruise?
Single most.
What moved you the most? So, I mean, it could be that cruise on Breeze coming back from the pandemic. And any one single moment that's uh, sticks in your mind?
Mm. Probably this last cruise back in November that I had on the breeze. I think it was just being recognized by all the guests that had knew me from YouTube and social media because it was like I hadn't even been on board for 5 minutes. I had a minimum of 10 people come up to me saying, "Hey, I've seen you on YouTube." So that was a really cool experience, and just all throughout the cruise getting recognized and taking pictures. It was almost like I was the cruise director in a way, but like not hosting any events, but it was really cool.
Well, that sounds real good to me because I'm personally invested in you becoming a Carnival Cruise Director.
Oh, thank you.
Because many, many years from now, someone could pick up the book and turn to your feature, and there it is in print, the last line in the book, where I vow to someday interview you as a Carnival Cruise Director. So,
Yes,
my neck is on the line, Nick J.
No, it'll for sure happen one day.
The oddball question. So you have a large following,
Yes, sir.
and welcome to the many Travels with Nick fans listening. Share one thing that my listeners and your fans don't know about Nick J.
Okay, something you guys don't know about me. Well, you guys do know that I run track, but one of the things that you probably don't know is that out of the 3,000, nearly 4,000 plus kids that go to my school, I'm in the top 5 fastest kids, or fastest sprinters that are there, and I can run 100 meters in 11 seconds. So
there you go.
Yes, sir.
Proud of you. So
Thank you.
are you gonna compete in the states and all of that? Are you ready for that in the next couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Fingers crossed for next year. Yes, sir.
Well, great. Good luck to you, Nick.
Thank you.
Nick, thank you for coming on the Joy of Cruising podcast, and all the best in the pursuit of your goal. I know you will get there. My predictions, if you ask me about my NBA and NFL predictions, I'm not much of a prognosticator, but I feel pretty strongly about this one. So we will definitely have you back on the podcast as you progress towards your goal, because I know you will continue to do great things in cruising. So go ahead and pencil it in. Sometime probably at the end of early in 24, maybe we'll get you back on and see how it's progressing and what has changed since the day. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot that you have to talk about. Well, I'm very happy for you, and I can't say I'm surprised. This podcast, your podcast, doesn't air for another month or so. I wouldn't be surprised if I have to get back in touch with you, because every time I open Facebook, you're doing great things, Nick.
Thank you. I'll let you know.
So I know I will get back in touch with you to be back on the podcast at a later date. But I'm just wondering, am I going to have to get back in touch with you before your first show airs? So, but anyway, best wishes in the job. I can check that one off as I predicted. Everybody predicts it, but as I predicted, he's on his way. So the future cruise director.
Thank you so much.
All right, Nick, take care now. Thanks for getting back with me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back on.
All right, have a good evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
All the best. And as they say, I'll see you on the ocean.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, take care now.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, for $18.99 can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.